Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. We've got a pretty fun video today. You've been asking for it, and well, now you're going to get it. Been asking how to use Spectraflame paint. Now, we're going to go over the different kinds of paint that are available from the Redline shop. And then we're also going to go into how you mix the paint, how you apply the paint, and pretty much what it looks like when it's done if you follow the directions that are on the bottle. So go ahead and grab your favorite adult beverage and let's hang out together as I explain to you how to use Spectraflame paint. Let's go ahead and get started. Now here are the different kinds of paint and the different colors of paint that are available from the Redline shop, and we're going to go through them so you see each one. First off is Spectraflame Red. Notice how dark it is in the bottle because, like I say and have said in the past, if you put it on too thick it's going to get that dark. But it's a fantastic product and I use it quite often. Then there's Spectraflame Magenta, Purple, Ice Blue, what a beautiful color, Aqua, Windex Blue, another fantastic color, and regular blue. Now this deep blue is beautiful. Then we have an opaque paint. This blue here is fantastic also. Here we've got Hot Pink, Olive, Green, Antifreeze. It looks fantastic when it's applied properly. Spectraflame Yellow, Lime Green or Apple Green, and again look how dark it is. You put it on in incredibly light coats to make it look the way it's supposed to. Spectraflame Gold, Orange, Copper, Root Beer, another beautiful color, and the black vinyl paint. Now this one paint here, you don't have to mix with any hardener or activator. You use it straight from the bottle because technically you're only going to use a few drops of it to paint a roof panel or something like that, or maybe even like an engine bay. But this is fantastic stuff. You don't have to use any thinners with it or anything. Spray it right out of the bottle. Then you have the silver base coat. Now this is used if your finish on your car looks pretty bad. It's pitted up or it's toned really bad and you don't have a zinc plating setup. This base coat will go on really nice and then you paint over it with the Spectraflame paint. A fantastic product. I use it quite often. Here you've got Opaque Red, Competition Orange, that's another opaque paint, Competition Green, Plum Crazy Purple, White, gives an incredible good base coat, Black. Now this is really good if you're going to be using any other colors like iridescence, etc. Now this is the hardener activator, and the mixture is 5 parts paint to 1 part hardener. I'm going to go into that a little bit more in depth here in a little bit. But if you follow the directions on the bottle and the information I give you today, your paint jobs will turn out fantastic. Now of course you have to have a nice clean car body in order to paint on. Then there's the clear coat from the Redline shop. This is the same mixture, 5 parts of paint to 1 part hardener. The clear coat once it's used properly, put over the top of a paint job and covers up decals, etc., looks absolutely beautiful. Let's go ahead and move on to mixing. Here I have these pipettes, and I have these little plastic medicine cups that you would use at the hospital to take pills. And we're going to show you the different pipettes that I use to do my paint jobs. Now, approximately 125 drops of paint to 25 drops of hardener, that's the mixture, and that will be enough to do a car. Now, if you want to do 2 cars, you double that mixture, but I'm going to make it a little easier for you here. If you use a 2 milliliter pipette, I've got it marked out here with the marker, 2 milliliters. Squeeze your paint up to that mark and then put it into your mixing cup. Then with the activator hardener, we're going to use a 1 milliliter pipette, and that's marked approximately halfway. So if you use the marks on the pipettes, the mixture of the paint with the number of drops that I just told you about, that is approximate, and that'll work fantastic. Now we're going to mix up a few colors here because I'm going to show you how to blend colors. 2 milliliters of the base coat. Make sure it's mixed up really good because it is a silver based product and the pigment sits down in the bottom of the bottle, so you need to mix it up really well. Now the other thing you don't want to do is you don't want to mix up the same pipette that you're using your activator hardener as you do with your paint, because if you get any activator hardener in your paint, the entire bottle is going to freeze up and it's going to be no good. And there's today's tip from your Uncle Paulie. Now when you get your activator hardener, go ahead up to the 0.5 mark on your pipette. And that's enough hardener that you would use in order to activate your paint. Now these are the marks that I've been using on my pipettes for about 2 years, and I've never had a problem with my Spectraflame paint by using these measurements. Now the other colors we're going to mix up here to go over the silver base are apple green or lime green. And again, we're going to use the 2 milliliter pipette. Now this is a brand new pipette, not the same one I used to bring out the base coat silver. There we go. And again, these measurements are approximate. You may have to check and make sure with your pipettes to make sure that you have the proper amount of drops that you're going to use for painting. And again, that mixture is 5-to-1. Now we're going to use Spectraflame Yellow. Same mixture, 2 milliliters of paint to 0.5 milliliters of activator hardener, and again that follows the ratio of 5 drops of paint to 1 drop of hardener. And here's another tip from your Uncle Paulie, and I'm not going to put the little voodoo guy back up there. When you're done taking your paint out of the bottle, make sure you put the lid back on, because inevitably you're going to spill it all over your desk. Now, does that sound like the voice of experience to you? It's just something I'm passing on to you because I've done it more than once, and it sucks when you spill your paint. Now, you can mix it up with a little stick, or you can mix it up by hand like I'm showing you there. Just agitate it around in circles, and don't do it too much because you'll spill it all over the desk. We're going to paint this Mustang, this Redline Mustang here that we have in front of you. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and coat this with the Spectraflame Silver. I'm using a Pache Talon airbrush, and the needle size of this brush is a 0.3. The Spectraflame paint has no issues at all going through the airbrush with a 0.3 needle. Now if you use something a little bit thicker like a Createx paint or a Chroma Air paint from Spray Gunner, you may have to use a little bit bigger needle because the medium is a lot thicker because the particles in the pigment are a lot larger. So you may have to use a larger needle. Now make sure you build the coats up also, just like you would any other Spectraflame paint. Take your time, go over the entire car, and then when you're done spraying it with the first light coat or tack coat, then you're going to let it set for approximately 15 minutes. Now guys, these tack coats are crucial in order to get a good paint job. Now I let this set. I did go back over it with more silver, so right now it's been approximately half an hour. We're going to spray on now the Spectraflame Yellow. And again, as I'm doing this blended paint job here, I'm going to take the yellow paint back all the way to about 2/3 the length of the car. That way there, when I go to put the green paint on, I can slowly blend it into the yellow, and it gives it a nice easy fade as you get to the front of the car. And that's what you're looking for here if you're going to do a blended paint job like this, is to slowly blend the paint in and not have an abrupt cutoff unless you're using a hard line like a tape line or something like that. Make sure you get up in the fender wells and underneath the car too, because you want the paint job to look even. This is looking really nice. This is for my friend Ricky up in Brooklyn. He asked me to do a blended paint job on his car, and I said, well, sure, I can definitely do that for you. This is looking good. Let's let this set approximately 15 minutes, and we'll come back in with the lime green. This is looking fantastic. Now we're going to hit it with the lime green. Now with this paint here, I'm going to start from the back and work my way to the front. That way there, I know approximately where I need to stop with the paint. Now, if you use the mixtures properly, the 5-to-1 ratio, and you use the proper amount of activator hardener, these paints dry to a beautiful shiny finish. Now, if you were to go back in later on and hit it with clear coat, it's going to look that much more deep in the paint job. And again, be careful that you don't put down too much paint. Get in the fender wells, make it look good, and make that blend look fantastic. This is really starting to look nice. But as I was saying, if you put the clear coat on there, especially if you put decals on there, it's going to make that paint job pop. Look how nice that looks, and that's the way it'll dry too. That beautiful shiny finish. Let's let this sit down. You know, I looked at it a little more and I says, I want the back end of that car just a little bit darker. So I went ahead and I mixed up some Spectraflame green. And I'm just going to do the tail end of the car just a little bit and blend it into the apple green or the lime green. What a real nice blend. This is starting to look fantastic. That's going to be sweet. Let's go ahead and move on. And here's the finished paint job. Look how nice that looks. These wonderful Spectraflame paints, folks, you can get them at the Redline shop. And check out all the colors. Now, what's good about the Spectraflame paints also is that you can mix colors to make your own shades and your own blends. So go ahead and check that out. Mix up some colors. If you don't have any purple and you got red and blue, go ahead and mix your own. Now, if you're doing that though, make sure you remember the ratio and the number of drops you're using to get the color that you want, because you may have to reproduce it. That turned out nice. I'm very happy with this paint job. That looks fantastic. And there you have it, Spectraflame paint from the Redline shop. And again, all these candy colors, the opaque colors, the clear coat, the activator hardener, all these are available from the Redline shop. And I recommend that you try them all and have them in your arsenal. Now, again, not only can these be used on Redline cars, but you can also use them on the mainline cars that you do too. And I recommend that you take some mainline cars and break them down and finish them up. And if you're not going to use the aluminum base coat, then go ahead and strip the paint down, shine it up with some flits, and make it look fantastic, and then get in with the Spectraflame. Check out the Redline shop at www.redlineshop.com and check out their tires, the Redline tires they have, the bearing tires, the cap style wheels, the wonderful world famous Spectraflame paint, and a complete line of decals for the older Redlines that you can use to restore your Redline project. But check out John's website, and if you have any questions, send him a message and he'll be able to answer it for you there. Man, this was a fun video. I really enjoyed it. I want to thank you for joining me today in Diecast Graveyard. We've got a lot more videos coming up, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on that little bell to be alerted to any future videos that come out. We got all kinds of other product reviews coming up, and I'm looking forward to doing it for you. Leave your comments in there. I read every single one. My name is Paul with Diecast Graveyard. Thank you, and cheers.